black comedy look at the whole kind of theme of duality. And I've always been, all of my films so far have always been about duality, about the kind of the balance between good and evil, and most people, I've always found it very fascinating, the two sides inside everyone. You know, I think everyone has a good side and a bad side. So Luster is just about breaking those two apart. And he was the first truly gifted actor that I ever worked with. And in the past, when I was making very low budget films, it was very hard to get hold of good actors, you know. And so I was always having to make the performance work in the edit. So there'd be like 1 second it was really good, and then 15 seconds it was complete shit. So I'd be always trying to find the 1 second. As a director, it makes it so easy. When you work with someone who's that talented, you actually have to do a lot less work. And especially because Andrew and I are just very similar people. Like in a lot of ways, Andrew is like Luster in the film. Like he's the more, like he is the dark side of me in a lot of ways. Like I don't need to direct him. I don't really direct him. He reads the script. He knows exactly where I'm coming from because he knows all of my sensibilities and what I like and don't like. So when I'm making a film with Andrew, I normally don't really talk to him very much. Apart from, I say hello in the morning and then we rehearse, but it's very laid back. Whereas with the other actors, I have to work a lot because they don't necessarily get who I am or where I'm coming from. And then when you're shooting something so fast, like in 18 days, to have that kind of shorthand existing with an actor saves so much time. And actors are the worst of that kind because they're so insecure by nature that they are constantly asking for affirmation and all of this kind of stuff. And with Andrew, I just don't have to do that because he trusts me and I trust him. And if there's something he does that I don't like, I don't have to get into some big debate about why I don't like it. I'll just, say to him I don't like it, and he doesn't take it personally and he just changes it. It's a very rewarding experience working with him. I think, without realising it, over a period of 10 years, I was trying to tell a story, and the story was about duality. A few years ago, I started realising that I was telling the same story over and over and over again until I tried to get it right. And now I feel like I've said it as well as I can say it. So I don't feel the need to do it again, if that makes sense. I mean, I made a film a few years ago called Pig that was kind of the most violent film that I made. And I think that was kind of like an expression of where I was in my life, which was very conflicted and angry and so on. But generally I just don't have that desire to just express myself like I used to. I don't know if that's just part of getting older or whatever. But I'm feeling a lot more kind of mellow these days and chilled out. And I think I used to make films for myself, whereas now I want to make films for an audience. I used to really honestly not care what people thought of my films at all. In a sense, I would like it when people hated them or, offend. I mean, Devil's Chair is like a personal attack on the audience. It means it basically goes out of its way to call the audience idiots for watching it. Because I've always been very interested in why people like to watch violence, I feel, I get offered stuff quite often, and I've just been turning it down because it's too much work, I mean, it's absolutely, I do love directing, but it's a fight. Every day is a fight, and it involves too many people. And I'm not really much of a people person, believe it or not. And so yeah, I feel like I've come to the end of that cycle basically. And who knows what the future holds, but I probably won't be making those kind of films again. Well, I mean, I've had the most lovely time. It was such a nice treat to be flown over here. Less and less the festival organisers go to the effort of actually bringing the filmmakers over, especially from America. It's, I guess, when I was living in England, it was probably easier to go around the European festivals. The last European festival I went to was probably in Brussels, like 3 or 4 years ago. And this is a very different type of experience. I mean, it's a lot more intimate, but in that, that makes it a lot more pleasant for me. I think, there's a kind of an attention to detail that seems to be missing in, I don't really want to slag off other festivals. And sometimes as a filmmaker, you can feel a little bit lost in that kind of situation. So yeah, it just seems like it's been really well organised, and everything seems to just make sense. It's a beautiful place. So yeah, I appreciate being invited.